Right, he's ready for the shit?
Yeah.
Hello and welcome back to Necrofancy Podcast. Today we're going to do more than go medieval on your ass. We're talking about Romans, specifically the brutality of the Roman Empire. Now this is more likely going to be a three-parter episode as we delve into the brutality of some of Rome's worst emperors, their methods of crime and punishment, and the many bloody battles that Rome's legions have taken part in. Feel like it's a safe thing to say that none of us are experts, and I know next to nothing about the Roman Empire. I prefer military history and shit like that, but Brad does know his fucking titties when it comes to the Roman Empire, because man loves his Romans. So hopefully if there's anything we're not clear on throughout the episodes, Brad can try his best to clear it up so we don't appear like complete idiots, just minor idiots. So with all that out of the way, let's get into today's topic. Arsehole emperors. Who wants to go first, or do you want me to go?
Who was yours? Caligula?
I have Tiberius and Caligula.
Yeah, I would. You go first. Go with Caligula.
I'll go Tiberius, and then, because Tiberius was first.
Oh, right. Oh, is he? Oh, I thought Caligula was before that. Oh, well.
No, Tiberius is Caligula's great.
Yeah, cool. Let's go chronologically, yeah.
Cool. So, Emperor Tiberius was born Tiberius Caesar Divi Augusti Filius Augustus, and was Rome's second emperor, ruling from AD 14 to 37, taking over from Rome's first, and I think only sound emperor, Augustus. Alongside being Rome's second emperor, he was also one of Rome's greatest generals, with his conquests laying the foundation of Rome's northern frontier. Brad, what is the northern frontier? Is that just mainly Europe, like Central Europe?
It was known as Gaul.
Sorry, Western Europe.
Gaul.
Oh, so like France and shit.
So
Gaul.
it was primarily like Celtic tribes and what was known as the Germanic people.
Thought so. Yeah.
Who Caesar beat back in his time through his command in BC. So following his reign, it kind of expanded into Gaul.
Right. Tiberius is remembered as being a sombre and dark reclusive ruler who never desired to become emperor at all. Pliny the Elder, a Roman author and philosopher, referred to him as the gloomiest of men. It's also said that he became more reclusive and aloof after the death of his son Drusus Julius Caesar in AD 23. Just a point, I'm saying Caesar, not Caesar, because I'm an arsehole and that's how it was pronounced back then. But that'll be covered soon. So let's get into my very fucking brief rundown of Tiberius' life. Tiberius served his predecessor, Augustus, by having a role in his tribune powers, which Brad and I interpreted as some sort of military power or something official. Anyway, he soon retired to Rhodes in 6 BC because he was fucking sick and, like I said before, didn't want anything to do with politics. After Augustus's grandchildren, Lucius and Gaius, died in 2 AD and 4 AD respectively, as well as the death of Tiberius' own older brother Drusus, Tiberius was recalled to Rome in 4 AD, where he was adopted by Augustus on the condition that he, in turn, would adopt Germanicus, which is Augustus's nephew. And during this time, he was granted a level of power, which meant that emissaries and foreign kings had to pay their respects to him, and in 13 AD, he was granted the same level of imperium, which is essentially absolute power, as Augustus. Now, Augustus died in 14 AD, and Tiberius became his successor and then Emperor of Rome. But it wasn't easy living, as problems soon arose during his early years as emperor. The northern legions of Rome's army had not been paid and subsequently rebelled. Tiberius' son Drusus, as well as Augustus' cousin Germanicus, were dispatched with a small force to quell the uprising and bring the legions back in line. Germanicus rallied the rebelling soldiers and led them on a short and successful campaign across the Rhine into Germanic territory and dealt a heavy blow to Rome's enemies. Tiberius' last years were notable for his absence from Rome and his general inactivity as an emperor. In 26 AD, at the age of 67, he had left Rome in the charge of the Praetorian Guard prefect Lucius Aelius Sejanus. Guaranteed I've butchered that name, but that's what I've written.
Probably.
And spent his last 10 years living on the island of Capri. It's also said that he did nothing to prevent the rise of his grandnephew Caligula, who at this time was popular with the people of Rome. In 35 AD, Tiberius would make Caligula and his own grandson Gemellus joint heirs. By the time he was 77, Tiberius had fallen gravely ill. When lying in his bed, Caligula, who was next in line to become emperor, had come into his room and removed the imperial ring from the dying man's finger. Tiberius sat up and asked for food. The commander of his guard then came into the room, but instead of food, came in with a pillow and suffocated the man, ending his reign as an absent emperor. Tiberius was hated despite Rome being peaceful during his reign. He was remembered by the phrase sanguine mandentia secoluto, or blood-soaked mud. I also managed to find a lot of fucked up and frankly bizarre shit that Tiberius was known for. He was known for having his enemies thrown off cliffs into the sea while he stood and watched. To make sure there were no survivors, there were sailors waiting below to smash the victims' fucking heads in with oars and boat hooks. Get out, you bastard!
Hope that's a direct quote from a Roman source.
Got your fucking 25 metre badge, aye? Fuck off. Tony the Tiger's got fuck all to do with this. He also banished his sister-in-law to the island of Padenteria, and she was beaten so badly one of her eyes were destroyed. She starved herself to death. It's also believed that a Roman nobleman had some coins in his pocket, which of course had the head of Tiberius stamped on them. The nobleman went to the toilet with the coins in his pocket, and Tiberius was fucking fuming. Apparently he saw it as an affront to take a piss in front of his face. His face that was on the coins.
Oh my God.
The coins that were in the poor fucker's pocket.
Really?
Anyway, Tiberius had the cunt executed.
You're literally the empire of the... You're like... Oh wait, grow up. Basically,
I'm not.
basically, grow up.
How I don't know how he knew. I'm guessing he went for a piss, came back and like had some like pulled some coins out of his pouch or whatever. And Tiberius was no, I imagine he left the table or something and he came back and like he pulled some coins out and Tiberius is just like sitting there with like a goblet of wine.
Aye. You fucking...
Before piss, before piss, aye, good piss, aye.
The Queen would never fucking sleep if she was offended at that.
I mean, I'm a donks in front of fucking pound coins. I wouldn't even. I'd dread to think that. So, that's Tiberius done.
Relatively sane as far as Roman emperors go.
I think as far as the ones we've got lined up,
yeah.
Can he sound like?
Just testing the waters with that one. What comes next? Fucking not good.
I just love the description that not only was she like blinded, her eye was fucking destroyed.
Aye. And then she then fucking starved herself to death.
I'm not fighting someone who threatens to destroy my eye, because I've never heard that before.
Can you just imagine like getting startled in town, you've had a few beds and you get up to fucking Barry McGuigan. You're like, well, fucking know I think, yeah man, I'll fucking destroy your eye.
2 seconds on, I was getting this taxi.
Just gotta fucking maybe finish me pint and go home like mate if it's all the same to you. And I see him over there, he loves getting his eyes destroyed, I've got a gun. So we're going in order of, we're in chronological order of emperors, yeah?
Yeah, you might as well go with Caligula then. Go where you left off.
Yeah. So, as I mentioned, Tiberius did nothing to stop the rise of Caligula, who happened to be next in line. So Caligula, one of the biggest cunts in Rome, was born Gaius Julius Caesar Augustus Germanicus, and, like I said, succeeded Tiberius following his death in 37 AD. He then went on to rule for 4 years, with his reign ending in 41 AD. Caligula had the luxury of being born into the first ruling family of the Roman Empire, which I think was thanks to his predecessor and great-uncle Tiberius. He got his name at the age of just 2 or 3 years old. Gaius accompanied his father Germanicus on his campaigns in the north of Germanica. The soldiers were amused that he was dressed in a miniature soldier's outfit, including boots and armour. To be fair, it's pretty fucking cute.
Oh, look at him.
Look at him. Little future mass fucking
Who's a good centurion? Who's a good centurion?
Who's not getting decimated? Who's not going to be the 10th man? For those of you who don't know, the term decimated or decimation comes from an ancient Roman practice where they would line up the soldiers and every 10th man would be executed in order to keep the soldiers' fucking heads straight. So... probably didn't work because you were fucking worried you were going to be the 10th man.
Aye.
Anyway, he was soon given the nickname Caligula, meaning little boot, after the small boots he wore, which were called caligae.
Oh man, no wonder. I'm sorry, like, you can't really like justify someone being a mass murderer. If my nickname was Little Boots, and I'd fucking kill loads of people.
To be fair though, that's like a pure prison nickname.
Aye.
Like, fuck, it's Little Boots is like this big fucking 6'7" hench as fuck tattooed like an Aryan Brotherhood looking motherfucker. There are a few surviving resources that exist of his early reign, but most agree that he was actually alright in his first 6 months, which, compared to 4 years isn't a lot of time. Later sources focus only on his cruelty, sadism, extravagance and sexual perversion, as well as presenting him as an insane tyrant. His first acts were generous enough in spirit, though they were political in nature. He granted bonuses to the military, including the Praetorian Guard, city troops and those outside of Italy. He declared that treason trials were a thing of the past, as well as recalling those who had been exiled previously. He also helped those who had been harmed by the imperial tax system, banished certain sexual deviants, and put on spectacles for the public like gladiatorial games. In October of 37 AD, he fell seriously ill, but some sources say it was an attempt on his life through the method of poisoning. He soon recovered, but many believe that this was the turning point of Caligula. He killed or exiled those who were close to him, quickly fucking putting an end to, exile, being banished, or anyone that he deemed as a serious threat. He had his cousin and his adopted son executed, as well as his father-in-law and his brother-in-law. He did keep his uncle alive though, but only to serve as a laughingstock.
Oh, is that Claudius?
I have no idea, mate.
Because in the show Claudius has got like a stutter.
That's fucking shocking.
Smack him around and that.
Yeah, he was a bit of an idiot.
I
think I might have been his uncle. I'm not too sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great, sure that.
I still need to watch it. I remember you bringing it up. I looked it up and looked fucking class.
I remember, when I was doing a bit of research on Nero, this came up actually, researching how he fell ill and woke up. Just absolutely fucking
Nero?
bonkers. No, Caligula. And I just thought instantly of like the kind of common Roman people, how happy they were to have someone who was like, imagine you're like, I don't know, the average age 40, 50-year-old hard-working Roman commoner. Finally, you've got someone who you can support. Like, fucking hell, I've been waiting for a Caligula for a long time. Everyone's paying the taxes. It's fucking prosperous, this. He gets the flu and wakes up and he declares war on the sea. It's like, fucking hell, lads.
I do like you wet bastard.
Can I catch your breath?
Caligula like...
Salt in the eyes.
Hey, lads, Caligula's fucking doing a speech. Well, we'll go into the fucking city centre, Iowa, and put the fucking pitchforks down away. Sound. People of Rome, this is my new senator, my horse. He's fucked. He's proper fucked, this one.
You will eat gold.
I think there was like
Have a big fucking house.
There was like some serious issues to deal with in Britain, and he just the sea, lads. He's having our life.
I can think of like a better one. See. I tell you what, seasickness.
Thinking it'll get everyone riled up, thinking everyone's going to instantly support him. Well, it's not a living thing, so I'm not really feeling the hype.
What'd you fucking say to me?
You're gonna go out there and stab the fucking sea to death.
Didn't he wasn't there like an oracle who said he would never cross a certain body of water as his time as emperor? And out of pure spite, he just built a fucking bridge and rode his horse across it.
Look at her in the eye.
God fucking tell me what a day executed. Anyway, in 40 AD, Caligula began implementing very controversial policies that introduced religion into his political role. He began to appear in public dressed as various gods, including Hercules, Mercury, the god of trade, Venus, the goddess of love and beauty, and Apollo, the god of healing, medicine and archery. Caligula also began referring to himself as a god when meeting with politicians, and he was referred to as Jupiter on occasion in public documents. He had the heads of various statues in Rome removed and then replaced with his own, and wanted to be worshipped as Neos Helios, the new sun.
Oh man, why do people not use it as much when they get ill anymore? I'd love to wake up from just, one day, lads, I'm ill. I catch COVID, and then the next time you meet us, I'm just fucking this off it.
Just you
fucking imagine just catching a stomach bug and then waking up like, yeah, I'm going to go and marry trees. That's what I'm going to do.
I'm in a job interview telling people I'm literally God.
So it says here your name is what's it? Just like conferring. Just conferring. He's wrote down Brad Samson, but it says here the goddess of mirth. He's wearing it.
I brought me.
Sorry,
bust.
go on.
I brought the bust I made of me. If you want to see the.
All right. And I see you've made this out of cabbages. Okay.
Aye. What? Aye. Have I got the job?
So you've.
Have I got the job?
Well.
Have I got the job?
Well.
Have I got the job?
Well, sir,
have I got the job?
Sir, I just need.
I've got a knife on us.
You've got the job.
You carry on.
So, yes, and so. Like most politicians and world leaders, Caligula was not without his scandals, whether true or unconfirmed. Philo of Alexandria and Seneca the Younger described Caligula as an insane emperor who was self-absorbed, short-tempered, killed on a whim, and indulged in too much spending and sex. Which, to be fair...
Fucking mint.
To be fucking fair to Caligula, right? If I was the ruler of a fucking country and had absolute power and had an empire like the world had never seen,
I'm gonna book and kill
there'd
everyone.
be mad booking, there'd be mad spending, I'd be buying whatever the fucking Roman equivalent of a Lamborghini was, just a mint horse. I'd buy loads of horses, I'd be fucking killing everybody who I didn't like. I've already got a short temper anyhow. I'm not self-absorbed, because I do hate myself, but that's neither here nor there.
Right, that's his one redeeming quality as emperor.
Aye, I'll do loads of mad shite and I'll kill everybody, but I'm a bit self-conscious about it.
I'm not cocky about it, am I? Like, fucking hell, I didn't sleep easy at night about killing 10 bands.
Caligula did, though. He is accused of sleeping with other men's wives and bragging about it. Killing for mere amusement and causing starvation. There is also a report of him presiding over some games and ordering his guards to throw an entire section of the audience into the arena during the intermission to be eaten by wild beasts. Because... there were no prisoners to be used, and he was bored.
Fucking hell, man.
He made the parents of children who were to be executed come along and watch. He had his chief animal handler flogged with chains day after day until his brains leaked from his head. He then had him killed because apparently leaky brains fucking stink. Caligula would also spruce up his feasts by having someone tortured as he ate. At one feast in particular, he brought in a slave who had been found guilty of stealing a strip of silver from a couch. Which, to be fair, the fuck you doing having bits of silver on your couch?
I know.
It's like the modern day people fucking nicking lead from a church roof.
Aye.
Nicking copper out of fucking train lines.
Executioners. Oh, sorry, go on.
No.
I was going to go with the point.
No, go on.
I've never been on a train when that happens.
Yeah, on a train.
Because they just tell you. I don't know.
Yeah, do you know?
I don't know long.
Do you know about these trains?
But they're kind of fast, right? They're like fucking big long cars.
Get more than 5 feet in them, man. They're fucking mental madness.
No, my point was, have you ever been on them when the copper gets nicked? Because they do announce it just as that. They don't try and make anything up. They're just like, sorry for the wait, someone's been nicking the copper off the lines.
I've been on a train where there was an announcement, but I had my earphones in, listening to Cannibal Corpse, so I couldn't tell you.
Just imagine, sorry for the delays, copper's been nicked. So until any years, cough it up. We're not going anywhere.
They haven't done it while they're on the fucking train.
Just blame it on them because they can't find the bloke.
Aye. Someone on this train's nicked the copper, right? I don't know what the fuck
it's 20 years. 20 years gone home.
It makes no sense. Because you want to get
matter of fact, you know, I won't just hear like the fucking the lights go off, the power guns off. He's just walking up and down the corridors. Wait, someone's fucking done it. Someone's fucking pinched it. Anyhow, Roman brutality.
Aye.
Where was I? Yes, at one feast in particular, he brought in a slave who had been found guilty of stealing a strip of silver from a couch. Executioners then cut off his hands and hung them around his neck before taking him on a tour of the tables with a sign indicating what he had done. Caligula was also said to have had a rather hairy body, so if you said goat around him, he would have you killed.
Who said what goat?
Goat?
Just imagine walking down the street, you know, I got fucked about with. Goat.
Oh, fuck it. But chilling outside, need a goat on. Fucking. Fuck.
Bit whack. I do like
this.
But welcome to daylight, we've seen Caligula's big, massive, hairy knackers. Who the fuck said that?
I like to think he tried to keep his cool though, like during the first 6 months. They're just like building and building and building and building. It's a fucking guts. Caligula robbed Alexander the Great's grave to wear his armour and pretend to be him. I was fuming when I read that.
Pissed me off, Caligula. I'm glad you did.
Because to be honest,
it's scurrying about, just picking the fucking dirt out of his hand.
He's like fucking Gollum.
Think you're fucking class, Alex. Think you're fucking class.
Alexander the fucking gay. Trying to squeeze himself into a fucking arm like a chest plate. Keeps getting his fucking hair caught in it. I'm not even fucking hairy! At a sacrifice ceremony, he was given a hammer that was used to knock out the beast before the sacrifice. The priest who was presiding over the sacrifice was waiting for the beast to be knocked unconscious, but rather than, helping the animal out somewhat, Caligula knocked the fucking priest out, which to be honest is pretty fucking funny.
Preach this!
I am Pelagaius. We need you to strike the beast in the head with a hammer. No bother, pal. Right, on the count of 3. 1, 2. Go fuck yourself. Caligula! Oh, he's fucking... Oh, so it's only been 7 months and he's fucked it?
Is this 7 months in?
Fuck. Oh, no, I'm just tapping the piss.
Oh, really?
It was that whole fucking month.
Fucking hell.
Guy, just the following day after he got better from being ill.
That's it!
He's gone out, braid a priest, killed anybody who said goats.
Can it get any worse? Sure it can.
Goat milk.
It doesn't. That's all I've got for the fucked up things he's done, I think. Let's just check the document here. Yeah, that's all I've got for the bad things he's done. It's probably, an awful fact a lot more, but all good things must come to an end. Caligula met his end in 41 AD as a result of an assassination conspired by officers of the Praetorian Guard, who were the emperor's loyal soldiers, and senators, who had also conspired. There were many conspiracies to kill Caligula beforehand, but they had all failed. This plot, however, didn't, and was said to have been led by 3 men, but there were rumoured to have been many more in the Senate and army involved too. The catalyst for Caligula's assassination occurred in 40 AD, when Caligula told the Senate he was going to leave Rome and move to Alexandria in Egypt, where he hoped to be worshipped as a living god. Rome losing its emperor and thus its political power was the final straw for many. This would mean that the Senate and the Praetorian Guard would be powerless to stop his debauchery. On the 22nd of January, 41 AD, Caligula's guardsmen accosted him as he addressed an acting troupe of young men during a series of games and dramatics. Details vary from source to source, but it's generally agreed that Cassius Chaerea, a centurion in the army of Germanicus, as well as a member of the Praetorian Guard, stabbed Caligula first, followed by a number of conspirators. It's also said that this also was drew a lot of parallels to Julius Caesar's assassination. Apparently the first person who stabbed Julius Caesar was also called Cassius.
Was also Alex? Yeah, you cut out a little bit there. Did I cut a few on?
I was just saying that details vary from source to source, but it's generally agreed that Cassius Chaerea, a centurion in the army of Germanicus, as well as a member of the Praetorian Guard, stabbed Caligula first, followed by a number of conspirators. By the time Caligula's loyal Germanic Guard responded, he was already dead. The Germanic Guard, stricken with rage and grief, then carried out a frenzied rampage on the assassins, conspirators, innocent senators, and bystanders alike. To wipe out, and just Ellen, just a little note, I want to just raise the question: how fucked up have you got to be loyal to Caligula?
I know.
Yeah. Well, there's that, or he's gonna just stab you.
I love Caligula. He's not hairy at all, despite what everyone says.
Plotting out like. Go on. What am I not like? He's got the horns. I'm not like a bull. No, I mean you can't be big. I'm just going to kill myself. It's fucking just save the bother. Fuck this. So yeah, the Germanic god, his loyal soldiers, carried out a frenzied rampage. To wipe out any lingering imperial support, the assassins then sought out to kill Caligula's wife, Caesonia, and killed his young daughter, Julia Drusilla, by smashing her head against the wall.
Fuck.
And so ends the life of Goat Boy.
Okay.
So yeah,
that's somewhere in eternity he hears that. He's heard us proper shitting on him for being hairy.
Where do you come over here?
You fucking step to us, I'd knock your fucking head off.
That's what hell is. You just have to spend eternity listening to people talk shit about you.
Nobody can say things about me I've already said about myself. So that's sound. Fucking kill anyone, mate. if I was emperor.
Aye, small disclaimer. Not now.
Yeah, not now.
Wait until I was emperor.
You know. Yeah, obviously, I'm not daft. So, who's next in succession?
I think it might be Nero. Who have you got now?
Commodus.
Yeah, I think it's Nero. Nero's 54 AD. So it's like...
Commodus is 117 AD.
Yeah, so it looks like it's Nero.
Right.
Wait, hold on. I'll do a little double check, which we should have done beforehand, but I didn't know we were doing this.
I'm sure Caligula was Nero's uncle.
Yes, he was.
Yeah.
He was. Oh no, his successor was Claudius.
And Claudius was...
And after Claudius was Nero.
Nero,
yes,
yeah.
Sorry.
And Claudius, everyone's got a British accent.
Well,
So,
yeah.
They're fucking... It's after the assassination. They find Caligula. Claudius, sorry. And they're just fucking... It's fucking Claudius, like, fucking... He should be fucking Caesar. Just fucking... All these fucking...
Just imagine a pure fucking Yorkshireman Roman. I don't know, if you're telling me, I think there should be Claudius rolling next, to be honest with you.
Sean Bean is every character. Just they didn't even attempt to make him look different either. Just literally the same Sean Bean.
I'd fucking love that.
Yeah, same. Right, so Nero, the adopted son of Claudius, became the 5th Roman emperor in 54 AD. Again, probably worth reinstating that his uncle was Caligula. Maybe
So, he comes from good stock.
Aye, maybe a bit of his uncle's blood is running through his veins because he again is a bit fucking off it, which we'll get into. He reigned for 14 years to his death in 68 AD, which we'll talk about a bit later on. Like Claudius before him, Nero was appointed emperor by the Praetorian Guard. You've spoken a little bit about them, a elite group of soldiers from the Roman army who were formed by Augustus and had a deep involvement in politics and were able to promote people to emperor. At the time,
they don't have that power.
Yeah, they were like a kind of independent body that just kind of assumed the power but didn't necessarily want it. I don't think they didn't seem to promote anyone from within the ranks. They just chose
the next best thing.
I think people still expected noblemen to rule, so they kind of just chose the best.
I thought it just came from like who was best suited, who was like close to the emperor.
Yeah.
And then if there was nobody, it would then be just who was best suited and in a position of power.
Because at this point, I think it's still a bloodline. They're kind of looking for people who are loosely related,
right? Okay.
In relation to the last emperor, but as it goes on, which we'll talk about in like 100 years' time, that's less relevant, and it's just about good senators and stuff who would be suitable.
Right.
So again, Nero was not a good option at all from the start. He was 17 when he was promoted to emperor, and he just didn't want it. He had no interest. His main interest...
Have you ever met a 17-year-old, though, who wanted to do anything?
Yeah, literally, yeah. And when they do want to do something, it's never what you want them to do. He wanted to be an artist. He was massively into the arts, massively into music, that kind of shit. So it didn't appeal to him whatsoever, yet he was kind of forced into it. But the things we'll talk about doesn't justify anything he does.
No.
So again, not a great start. 17-year-old kid, giving him probably the most powerful position in the world. He's known in history for being on the unpredictable side, even though there are reports of many the citizens of Rome did actually like him as an emperor. I don't know how true that is, whether or not that was a kind of propaganda. from his side.
he's just telling them, nah, he's on both, mate.
Chained up. Yeah, I'm fucking class me, Anna.
He's like just holding like, oh god, just like holding like a dead kid. It's like, I'll tell you, I'm mint. He's know this. He's dead.
He's flopping it about.
Just limp fucking like arm.
He's already dead.
Yeah, I mean, I found him. He was just in the ground somewhere.
I'm gonna eat him. I'm not gonna let a dead bear go to waste, am I?
Fucking hell, man. Aye. Christ, you think I'm some sort of fucking a monster or something?
Chewing on a dead kid.
Fucking grabs it and slams it on a stone.
Anyhow, these are all due to be executed, so...
Aye, so
what for? I don't know.
Yeah, bored.
Sat there fiddling with his thumb. So as the years went by, he only seemed to get worse from the point that we've just discussed. He shouldn't have probably been in that position anyway. One of the most famous stories of Nero is the execution of his own mother, Agrippina. He was unsatisfied by his first marriage to Octavia and was encouraged by his two advisors, Seneca and Burrus, to step out of his mother's shadow and do what he felt was right. He was not happy with his mother's actions, who was a controlling woman, so in retaliation, she promoted Nero's brother, Britannicus, as the true heir to the throne to go against Nero. Britannicus died in mysterious circumstances in 55 AD, most likely poisoned.
Mysterious, were they right?
Yeah, totally mysterious. Got no idea how he died or why.
Weird how he just drank like 8 pints of arsenic. That's mad. That you think you'd have known after the first one. Madness.
Fell out. One story had it that they were dining together when Nero poisoned Britannicus, and when he began having a spasm on the floor, Nero calmly ordered his body removed and buried, then continued eating. Absolute boss shit.
He's just lying there like it's like the fucking Red Wedding. He's like grasping his throat like Emma, could you maybe just shift in, please? Cheers, boss.
Trying to eat that while I'm eating.
Trying to eat me.
Mouthful of fucking lasagna.
Trying to eat me whatever the fuck this is, stew.
I don't know what the fucking Romans eat. Dog.
Something.
Probably a dog.
Dog and Ben.
Dog and Ben stew. That's that. We need to open a pub called the Dog and Ben.
I mean, any three words go together. Any sequence of words go together in Britain when you want to open a pub.
Looking around the room now, the paint roller and drill.
Literally, I've probably been to that.
The humidifier and blind.
Aye, that's in Carlisle.
The thing poster and toilet roll.
Aye. Campsite in the lakes.
I think that's a pub in Benidorm, isn't it? Anyway, continue.
Just deathly sad. Neo wants to talk about Benidorm. This
fucking awful.
This one's probably my favourite. So he attempted to kill his mother 3 times. Got away with the first time with his brother, I assume. So he used 2 traps which failed. The first one was just a kind of general like booby trap, I think, on board a ship.
That's exactly what I was thinking of. Like Scooby-Doo scene.
I'm just thinking that.
The next one he tried to get a bit more. He got a bit more sophisticated with it. She was sat on a couch on a ship, and a lead-weighted canopy fell on her, and intended to kill her, but the arm of the sofa stopped her from doing so. So then the third time round, he was just thought, fuck this. So he had a ship capsized, but she swam to shore. He gave up on the subtlety and just stabbed her to death.
I just imagined the whole time she's fucking like just shrugging it off like someone's on you fucking weird in the background going
I just imagine him like a fucking
next time
like an old Hanna-Barbera character, like a proper villain, just like proper hunch shell, his big nose. Yes, and then the throne of Rome will be mine. Yeah. And then like he just feels
again.
He's just like, oh fuck this, just walks out, stabs his maw.
I got a group of soldiers to just literally track her down and just stab the shit out of her. He'd had enough. He'd had enough.
To be fair, there's a time for nuance and there's a time for fucking practicality. I know. So
he tried 3 ways.
I'll give him credit where credit's due.
Exactly.
At least he was mad, didn't
exactly.
I was just thinking it's like one of them like in Scooby Doo's where the floor disappears and she's still like running in the air and then stops and then falls.
So the murderous ways of Nero don't end there either. As I mentioned earlier, Nero was married to Octavia, and that relationship went sour very quickly when he became attracted to another woman who happened to be the wife of his best friend. Not one for subtlety, as we just discussed. Nero imprisoned Octavia on an island and sent his best friend to govern a remote region, so they were both out of his way. And then married his new girlfriend Poppaea, I think that's the right pronunciation, and got round to having Octavia killed. He had her head brought to Poppaea to gloat over. She wasn't able to boast for long though, because when she was pregnant, Nero kicked her to death in a fit of rage.
Jesus fucking Christ!
Yep, he's a bad bastard.
Fuck me!
He's a bad bastard.
I'll teach you to be pregnant.
Aye.
Fucking hell! Was there no like milk of the poppy or whatever the fuck it is in Game of Thrones?
Funny you should say that because I've got a bit in me
moon
notes.
tea.
I've got a bit in me notes, which is I'm convinced that Nero is partially the inspiration behind Joffrey Baratheon. Yeah,
I've heard
the
that
scene
a few times.
where he shows Sansa Ned Stark's head. That came to mind straight away.
Oh shit! Yeah.
And yeah, I know he does a lot. A lot of his characters are based around Imperial Rome, so there's kind of no doubt in my mind.
Fucking content for that.
Yeah, definitely. There's another bit. There's another little fact that came up which I read into. He castrated a former slave and married him. So.
Oh yeah, yeah. I know about this one.
So reading the. I'll find a good place to start. So yeah, after he kicked his pregnant wife to death, he married a woman, forcing her husband to commit suicide. He then
is that technically murder though? If you force somebody to do it,
probably in that context, because like
in that context, yeah. If you literally just gone, hello mate.
Well, it depends if you hold power. Like if I said to you, kill yourself, and you did it, I don't think I would be responsible for your death because like
it'd be manslaughter or something like that.
I think it would be manslaughter actually, yeah, because
because there was
some
lass who convinced himself and she got done for it.
Yeah, true. But like if someone in that position, it's like if you don't do what I say, I'm going to kill you anyway.
Yeah, fair point.
So he ordered the castration of Sporus, a former slave, then married him, which noted historian Cassius Dio claims was because Sporus bore an uncanny resemblance to Nero's dead former wife, the one who he kicked to death.
Ah, right. Well, you know how he could have just like fixed that? Not kicked his wife to death, maybe?
You know...
I'm not a genius by any means, but
I'm not one to tell you how to live your life, mate, but you've kicked your pregnant wife to death and you've married a bloke and you've cut his balls off.
Not against marrying blokes if you're a bloke.
No.
Love is love.
But, you know...
Just
leave his balls. If you're going to marry him.
Give him summit.
You're not coming to me.
Oh, fuck's sake. You're not getting me pregnant.
I'm the one who comes.
I'm Emperor. I'm coming.
So I not agree.
The walls between this room and next door are very thin.
I hope they're listening. I hope they're listening and they don't. Obviously, they can't hear us. That's the best thing.
I've got the window open as well. That's the best part of that.
He keeps shouting.
Why is he just talking to himself about ancient Rome and laughing?
You see me the top of my head fucking through the window.
Just get a fucking,
shouting about fucking Romans.
Get a letter through the door. Hi Alex, I know you're laughing about the great emperors Nero and Caligula being mad, but we're concerned for your own well-being.
We've taken it upon ourselves to get you sectioned.
But definitely the most notorious of all of Nero's acts is the fabled playing of the lyre as the city burned. Sorry, the fiddle. The Great Fire.
Yeah, it was actually a lie, though, wasn't it?
Yeah, the Great Fire of Rome started in 64 AD and lasted for 6 days, burning 70% of the city down. It was rumoured that Emperor Nero was seen playing the fiddle and singing as the city burned. There's been a big dispute over this among historians, who say that rumour was started by those who thought that fire was started by Nero so that he could rebuild the palace of his dreams in the aftermath. There's a few facts that can help dispute that. was the fact that the fiddle wasn't invented until the 1500s. 2 seconds. Hello, I'm back. Where was I? Yeah, there's a few facts that can fully dispute this, reduce it to the legend that many say it is. The fact that, like I said, the fiddle was invented till the 1500s, and also that Nero was in fact 50 miles away from the city when the fire started, in his home in the south of Italy. I didn't get an exact location, but he had a villa in the south of the country. He was well outside of Rome at the time and had been for quite a while. He would periodically just leave Rome to either travel or just spend time in his villas, and he would entrust the city to close advisors or whoever.
Fair enough.
Yeah. There's many who actually see him as the embodiment of the Antichrist, both at the time and through history.
Why.
Yeah.
Funnily enough, you know how last episode we were talking about that poor German girl, Anneliese Michel, who went through the exorcism, like the Catholic. Yeah. There's an audio tape released. I think it's on YouTube. It's probably on YouTube. And it's her speaking as she's quote unquote possessed, and she says within her are the spirits of Nero and Hitler.
Ah, it's interesting.
So.
Yeah, you can definitely see why. And on top of it goes a lot deeper at this point. This is like where me reading got like Jesus Christ, literally. On top of murdering those closest to him, he was renowned for the persecution and the murder of Christians. He blamed a lot of Christians for the fire, and the Christians in the city were rounded up and burned alive or torn apart by dogs.
It's refreshing that he didn't blame the Jews, though. That's a nice refreshment.
He would wrap them in animal skins so that the dogs would tear them apart. And it was reported that the burning Christians would serve as torches in his garden at night.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Just imagine going to a feast. You're lucky enough to be a noble who hasn't been killed by Nero, and he invites you to his villa for a feast. Say, I'll take you for a walk through the gardens. Oh, thank you, Emperor Nero. Are you cooking? Oh, can I just make a guess as to what you're preparing for our feast? Is it pork by any chance? Nah, you'll see. Just walking through the garden. I can really smell. Oh, fuck me.
Hands behind his back as well, just casual as fuck.
Yep.
And these tulips are really coming out this year.
He's bending out to sniff the flowers.
The salted Christian is particularly good.
Oh man, fucking.
Didn't it drag the fucking dwarves down that one away?
Where am I? Nero ultimately committed suicide in 68 AD. Where am I? Lost me place. He was denied escape from the city by his own guards following a revolt by those who were just unimpressed by his actions. Yeah.
Unimpressed with unimpressed with her.
Funny enough, the murder seems to be like secondary to financial issues in ancient Rome. They seem to just not give a shit about how many people you kill. It's as soon as taxes go tits up, you're out. The revolt was a financial one. He'd fucked up the taxes and he'd fucked up the financial situation through the whole rebuild of Rome after the fire. And that's what actually caused the revolt. It wasn't, stabbing fucking his own man to death or kicking a pregnant woman to death. That seemed alright. But no,
let that be a lesson.
Fucking raise taxes.
Keep your taxes in order, because that's how they got Capone, and it's how they fucking got Nero.
Aye, there you go. There you have it. Do your taxes, people. His dying words were apparently, "An artist dies with me."
An arsehole dies with you.
Aye.
A mass murdering fuckhead dies with you.
Fuckhead, yeah. The OG fuckboy. Fuckhead.
Does it say how he killed himself? Just out of morbid curiosity.
No, it never did. I actually tried to find that out.
He seems like the type of person to get someone to do it for him.
I think he started himself.
That's what I was thinking.
Have a quick check. But he did a lot of poisoning, so...
Send your dagger to me.
It's like, I went at that Key and Peele sketch where it's with the African warlords. Do you know what I'm talking about?
You cut out there, mate.
Oh, talking about I imagine his death was like the Key and Peele African warlord sketch.
Oh, I don't think I've seen that one.
Oh, it's just like, you are my most loyal and trusted commander. I ask you to kill me so the enemy does not. Like, he wants to shoot him, like hits him in the leg. He's like, I'm so sorry. And he can't see it again, like gets him in the arm. Gets his knife, stabs him, but he stabs him like in the shoulder. He's like, who would stab somebody in the shoulder?
Yeah, it looks like it was stabbed himself to death. Which, good riddance, Paul. You're a bit of a fucking cunt, let's be honest.
Oh yeah, I'm not one to advocate suicide, but you know.
So I'll end on this. This brilliant little quote I found from Aurelius Victor, a historian and politician in the 3rd century. This was written in the Book of the Caesars, and the quote goes, For Nero, in fact, spent the rest of his life... For Nero, in fact, spent the rest of his life so disgracefully that it is disgusting and shameful to record the existence of anyone of his kind, let alone that he was ruler of the world.
Damn.
Yeah. Slammed him.
Man got slammed off his death, yeah.
Slammed by Aurelius.
God damn.
He's in heaven like, oh God.
Oh, he's in heaven, is he?
Mate, Aurelius is out there fucking dunking on people in the 3rd century.
Fuck around, get dunked on by Aurelius. Yeah. Is that all you've got? Or have you got another one
to
for
wrap
us?
up Nero, yeah.
You said you were doing 2.
Yeah, Hadrian, so that's not until 117 to 138. So if anyone's got anyone in between.
That'll be it, because mine's 117 to 192.
Oh, right. Yeah, got you. So I'll go straight into Hadrian. I don't have much on Hadrian. He's a bit boring, to be honest. He's
fair enough.
He's a well-known emperor, I think, for the obvious fact that he built Hadrian's Wall, which I'm not too sure if that's common knowledge among people around the world, or whether it's just because we're from England and we're from the north, and it's a pretty popular thing here.
Is it a National Trust site, or is it like a UNESCO site?
I'm not too sure. I remember going when I was a kid, and like I say, I'm not too sure whether it's a kind of well-known thing internationally, or whether it's just a bit of like a national thing to us. But yeah, that's what it was well known for. Had a pretty shitty nickname in The Wallmaker. Because as far as things went under his rule, it was relatively peaceful.
That's nice.
Kept affairs in order. And he was just renowned for his building in and around the empire. In the north of England, he would just build walls. So
it's just a Britty, isn't it?
Yeah, literally.
He's just
level 3 Britty.
How the fuck did a sound Britty ended up as the emperor? He was the 3rd of the so-called 5 good emperors, who all ran in succession of one another. I think the first was 90 BC, so Hadrian kind of falls in the middle of them, and I think they reigned consecutively for about 80-90 years, probably up until Commodus. And none of them were from any kind of royal bloodline. They were all just individual senators or public speakers or military officials who rose to emperor. And yeah, that's regarded as the kind of most prosperous time in ancient Rome. So he was the 3rd of those. He took a traditional career path as a Roman senator and also served in the military. His rise to power was again very traditional of the time, serving the empire before actually ruling it. And although his reign was peaceful, he was famous for travelling in full military gear wherever he went, and he also stayed with the soldiers wherever he went. He would never stay separate from them. For that reason, he became a favourite of the soldiers, and they all had a lot of respect for him.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
I'll give him respect for that one.
So it was nice to actually talk about a cool, somewhat boring, nice emperor after Nero.
Yeah.
People would be quite happy with just a fella building walls.
I'd be some of
that. If not, it's fucking commodious.
Yeah. Yeah, so you're up now?
2 seconds, I'm just going to turn the light on because I can't see. Right, back.
Let's get it.
Right, so do you remember from last time or the time before? I'm shit at reading, so.
Well, there was last time and the time before and the time before that.
Slam. Aurelius level slam.
Just call me Alex Aurelius.
this blood's going to help us.
Oh yeah, that's what you need.
Yeah,
Beer to help you fucking read.
Liquid courage, man.
Yeah, but anyway.
Right, Commodus was born in August the 31st, 161 AD. In Lanuvium, Latium, which is now... I can't read me fucking handwriting, like...
Why'd you handwrite it?
Italy. Lanuvio. That's probably wrong. When he was born, he was named Lucius Aelius Aurelius Commodus. And when he was eventually emperor, he was Caesar Marcus Aurelius Commodus Antonius.
They're a fucking bunch of bellends for these names, like. I'm sorry.
It's fucking... But you would change them as well.
That's the one thing that...
Names up.
The thing that really confuses me about the Romans is, like, obviously they've got the birth name, but then they just fair enough for changing it, because it's a flex, I'll give you that, and it probably means something in Latin, but keep it fucking simple.
Yeah. He jointly ruled with his dad from 177 AD to 192 AD. His dad died in 180 AD. Yeah. Sorry, it's probably jumbled up. Before he came along, there was about 84 years of stability, and he fucked it, as you'll see in a sec.
Yeah, was Commodus the Joaquin Phoenix's character, isn't it, from Gladiator?
Aye.
Yeah.
Yes, aye. I think it's a completely inaccurate portrayal of Commodus, though.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, Russell Crowe wasn't alive back in them days.
Really? Because I thought Joaquin Phoenix was some sort of fucking immortal.
Yeah, I totally glossed over that word for this.
Ridley Scott's probably that old.
Ridley Scott do it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I never knew that.
Who was the guy who died halfway through filming? Was it Oliver Reed?
I'm not sure. I didn't actually know that. Let's have a look.
Yeah, I think Oliver Reed died halfway through the filming because he was just a fucking horrible old alcoholic cunt.
Which one was Oliver Reed?
He did die in 99, so yeah, you're probably right. Because it came out in 2000.
I think he was Commodus' father.
Yeah, it is.
Was he?
I reckon that, yeah.
Yeah, it's Commodus' star.
Yeah.
I thought he was Dumbledore.
No, that was someone, and then it was Michael Gambon. Now, Oliver Reed died in 99 anyway, and I doubt they would get him onto a kids' film because he was an alcoholic fucking arsehole.
He was the slave owner of Marcus Aurelius.
Oh, right.
So I remember that scene of him in the white.
Oh, so his daughter might actually be Dumbledore. I'm sure I watched it. And like...
It's just getting confusing. Marcus Aurelius' daughter's Dumbledore.
Right, Gladiator. Oliver Reed was Proximo. Richard Harris was Marcus Aurelius. Right, okay. So Richard Harris played Joaquin Phoenix's daughter.
Yeah.
But he's also dead, and that is Dumbledore. Yes, you were right, that's Dumbledore.
Yeah, he was actually really good, Dumbledore.
Don't like Harry Potter, so I can't. I can't really put my opinion in. I don't really care for Harry Potter.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Aye. So, his star, Marcus Aurelius, or Caesar Marcus Aurelius Antonius Augustus. He was, he loved, military shit. And
same.
Pretty much all it was about. His son accompanied him during the Marcomannic Wars, sorry. It's 172, and the tour of the eastern provinces in 176, which included Antioch.
I've heard of Antioch.
Yeah, I think.
It's a famous battle, isn't it?
Yeah. In 177, he was made the youngest consul in Rome's history, and the same year promoted to co-emperor with his father. This was the first time an emperor's son had inherited the role since Titus was the successor of Vespucia?
Vespucia. Yeah.
Vespucia in 79. During his sole reign, there was a reduced military conflict, which was a breath of fresh air from his father's reign. But that didn't really make it easier, because he's a right fucked up cunt. Yeah, let's see. This is how just fucking arrogant he was. He erected statues of himself looking like Hercules, son of Zeus. He wore, I think Hercules was depicted with like a club and a fucking lion's like skin around him.
Yeah.
So there's a lot, like, you'll probably say it if you Google his name.
I find it hard to even be mad. Like, just fair enough.
If there was anybody you were going to portray yourself as, I'd be Hercules.
What'd you say, Alex? You keep cutting out.
Yeah.
If there was anybody I was going to portray myself as, it would be Hercules.
You cut out.
It doesn't matter, it picks up on the fucking recording.
Oh, he either wanted or he did rename Rome to Commodiana.
Fucking hell, man.
The Roman people to Commodiani, as well as the army. He renamed some months as well after him.
What month is
August.
it? Oh, it's Commodus's big knob.
August was Commodus. September was Hercules. And other months were nicknames that he gave himself. Which you're a bit of a fucking cunt if you give your own nicknames.
Oh man, I love him.
Other people are meant to give you the fucking nicknames.
Nah, he's boss, I love him. He's fucking so disrespectful.
What's your nickname, Commodus? Yeah, Big Cock.
It's the 23rd of Commodus the Hard Cunt.
Who gave you that? Me.
People of Rome, it is I, your emperor, Big Dick Commodus, the slayer of Fanny.
He fucking basically did fuck all as an emperor. Like, all his rules were like, he just didn't know, he gave that to other people. And he just loved like gladiator battles. And there was a rumour that he was actually the son of a famous gladiator that his mum had a affair with or something.
That'd be ironic after the film.
Yeah.
It's funny that isn't written into the script, to be fair.
Gladiator battles, he was involved. He used to strip naked and beat physically handicapped people to death.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
There's a thing where he hates fucking physically handicapped, like. It was proper unfair as well. Like, because obviously, if you're a gladiator, you're not going to beat your fucking emperor because you're going to be put to death. But as well, if you don't beat your emperor, you're going to be put to death.
He stood there confused as fuck. Stood there with a sword, just doing something seriously. I don't know what to do.
It's like that big fucking helmet, so it's got like the grids over the eyes, like the big helmet, and the mask. He's like,
see the white of his eyes through it.
What the fuck? What the fuck?
He used to force gladiators to come to the parliament.
You were just going to leave that. He used to force gladiators to come.
Just leave this
forced them to come to practice and his home.
Toss gladiators on.
Was mainly always met with fucking certain death. No one would beat him in practice either. Because they knew they'd be fucking killed. So when he won, he might celebrate by killing them.
Jesus fucking Christ.
They would spar with like wooden blades or like blooded.
Yeah, practice swords, yeah.
Yeah. But then, like, when he won, he just fucking stabbed some cunt, like, pulled a blade out and fucking stabbed him.
When someone reaches this level of petty and shitty, I just fucking have to love it.
You gotta respect it.
I was on board until the beating the physically handicapped to death.
But
now I'm back on board.
Excuse that, yeah.
That's a bit questionable.
Yeah.
What was it? The luckiest people to spar with him, they would return home with missing noses, limbs, scars, and maybe a bruise or two, but Obviously, the unluckiest fucking died. His love for gladiator battles almost or did cripple the economy, as he would charge the state every time he showed up in the ring 1 million sesterces or sesterces.
Oh, no.
He just changes the schedule to like, oh, your fucking emperor's coming in. You're fucking paying for it. No fucking choice.
Introducing.
Agree to this.
It's fucking me again.
Gives you million.
That'll cost you mine.
Ladies and gentlemen, loyal people of Rome, please make some noise. Get on your feet and clap your hands for your boy. Commodus gives you fucking bank.
The thing is, as well, like, I don't know about this time, but I think it was well known that it was actually free to go in and watch the gladiators. So, like, they weren't getting money, like, they weren't getting fucking ticket sales or anything. It was just coming from them.
Oh, man.
So, they fucking... It's free, but not your fucking tax, you prick.
Just love, like,
I'm fucking mint.
just sat them down and they all just sat around the table and they're like, Commodus, do you know how transactions work? Do you know how the economy works?
I like to think this is happening. He's like sitting there in full gladiator gear. Just like, can I go and stab somebody now? It's like when a kid gets brought back to his seat because he wants to go and play.
Aye.
And the Praetorian Guard have to like wrangle him back in his seat. She's sit down! I want to go and play.
Fucking pissed off he is out next time. My scrap's got to be about 20 million.
I'm going Matthews build me a Colosseum just for me.
Under his breath. Sorry, it's got to be about
Watching God. Oh, I wish there was a battle here.
Put me in my fucking seat, put you in the fucking ground, daft cunt.
Wait, I mean, next sponsorship, I'm literally going to fucking bang up the city. What'd you say?
I just love that he fucking just...
Mate, no.
He just fucked the economy up just because of that.
Oh, man. It's
Fucking-
sole power, like, it's true, like, absolute power corrupts absolutely. This is probably the best example I've ever heard of that. Like,
Unlimited power!
just literally, like, charging the city money for something that doesn't make money on is fucking incredible.
I wouldn't be surprised if you put it like a rain tax in.
Aye.
Our crops are really suffering during winter, Commodus. Is there anything you can think of that we could possibly rain tax? Why the fuck did I come here? I'm telling you.
the god of rain, and I bring you taxes.
What a fucking prick. I hate this cunt
He's
more
an
than
arsehole,
Caligula.
but I respect it.
I fucking hate him more than Caligula.
But when gladiators, like, sometimes when, like, they fuck someone up, they would try and, like, spare the opponent's life.
Aye.
It's kind of like... Because they were probably fucking brothers in war. They probably
Yeah.
killed each other. Or they were, like, two criminals.
I think the film depicted that quite well, with, like, mutual respect they had of each other.
Yeah.
And so Commodus would get fucked off and order them to be tied together until one of them was dead. Otherwise they'd just be stuck, tied together, trying to slash at each other.
It does sound like they got Joaquin Phoenix's character pretty spot on in certain parts though, because he was like that. He was like really.
Oh yeah.
If it wasn't entertaining, he would like do the Emperor classic, like raising him.
Well, I read something that I think I've like watched like a couple of clips of the film, and you see him like fight Russell Crowe, now his character, fucking Maximus or whatever.
His name is Maximus Decimus Meridius,
That's the
father of a murdered son, husband of a murdered wife, and he will have his revenge in this life or the next.
One of us is gonna have to do that. I'm glad you did.
Thank you.
Like before like the final battle and that, he stabs him in the back to like waken him.
Yeah.
Aye.
When he was fighting like fucking lions and that, he ordered them to be fucking stabbed and then cleaned the wound up.
Oh, that's fucking
So
terrible.
they're like, I mean a tiger.
Just a tiger with a get big coat coming out.
He's
Fuck's a
perfectly
crap,
fine.
Whoa,
lions defeat him, the lions just lying down.
What's good massive hard communist do? He's killed a fucking lion. That's about 13 million. That one. That's proper.
It's a cat with a lion mascot.
It's just 17 cats tied together.
Send out the lions! They just fucking shit and walk away.
It's like the episode where Mac and Dennis try and create the Paddy's currency. Trying to create the fucking gladiator currency.
Also again with his fucking love for physical handicap, he forced two dwarfs to fight each other in the ring with fucking cleavers for his amusement.
Jesus fucking Christ.
Which that reminded me of Joffrey when he's
yeah
getting the fight like is all like
did the Battle of the Five Kings.
Aye. He just loved fucking torturing the physical handicapped. He once served he spent loads of money on these fucking shitty banquets. They probably weren't shitty, just the food was shitty back then. As like two little centerpieces for the table, he got everyone to gather round. So it was like all the fucking silver platters up, and revealed two hunchback men covered in mustard.
Oh Jesus! Fucking hell!
I was quite surprised that they weren't forced to eat him. So I thought that was where it was going to go.
Yeah, I thought that when you started.
From being like a sadistic cunt, but they were just like centerpieces to be fucking.
Oh, it's just as great.
Can you just imagine trying to eat your bait and you're like right by the centrepiece and there's just like some poor dead hunchback's cold dead eyes.
Just the mustard that
might
be
off, not the dead.
For fuck's sake.
Well,
that's even worse.
And
a live hunchback's cold dead eyes.
Imagine, I don't like mustard that much. Imagine being covered it and fucking stuck in that position for hours. Be fucking bored.
Imagine being a decent guy eating at that table as well, just catching eye contact with a hunchback covered in mustard. I can't help you, mate. I can't help you. The Emperor's a fucking nutcase.
I don't know what the fuck you want us to do, mate. Did he? I mean, I'm assuming he probably killed them afterwards. Actually, I was going to say if you let them go after that, they were probably lucky. But I imagine he just had them killed for the fuck.
Yeah, I highly doubt that.
Yeah, he probably just fucking sparred them. They probably took them in the gladiator ring to fucking club them to death.
More fucking
likely. He used to think they were fucking assume they were giants or something in the gladiator ring. Just fucking absolutely mad, man. He was that mad with power when he was young, because this wasn't just like a fucking power gun to his head thing. This was like from birth. Anyone made fun of him when he was younger, he later fucking thrown them to animals and lions and that.
Fair enough.
He wanted to be a surgeon, so much that he did experiments on live people.
Of course he did.
He once cut open a fat dude's belly with scalpels, just to see what it looks like on the inside. Probably see it's like a foot. I imagine it to be like a really cartoony shit, like cut it open and there's a fucking live chicken in there or something like that.
Just a whole pie.
Bit of a like not even chew, just fucking whole food.
Full loaf of bread.
And teachers used to, they helped them just watching fucking horror and held the bloke down. Because if they didn't eat, they'd be fucking next. See if they got any fucking fear in them.
You're going out of this fucking fuck going down now with that current remote, and if you fucking did it, you'll be on there next time, alright? I mean, I didn't see a no, but alright then.
He also hated the his senators because he wanted total power over Rome.
I mean, a lot of them did, but it's a lot of them just kind of hated them but respected the fact that they had to be there. Doesn't sound like the type of guy who's going to do that.
The whole thing of like he wants total power over Rome, he does what he fucking wants anyway.
Yeah.
Fucking like, he does what he wants. He does what he wants. Emperor Commodus. Does what he wants.
He fucking again he hated them, and he openly planned to have them killed. So they heard him like, we gotta fucking kill them senators. Like, just fucking.
I like, again, he's just sitting with the senators. So Emperor Commodus will brought forth these new policies. I'm going to kill all yous, like. I'm going to bash you with eating. I'm going to stab you. I'm going to have you kill him. And then I'm going to have him kill you. And I'm going to kill him.
And then I'm going to just rub you in mustard and I'm just going to buck you.
Call it buck mustard.
That's got to be December.
Into mustard.
Kind of weird for the 25th of December. It's now going to be mustard fucked.
That's it. Now, fuck the gods. I'm reigning him in the gods. One of them's going to be Mustard Buck. The other one's going to be his wife, Mustard Bucker.
I don't know how much, like, he fucking despised them. Like, because he erected a fucking statue outside the Senate House of him fucking aiming a bow and arrow towards the Senate House. So every time he got to work, you see him fucking aiming at you. You got, after like a long day, 12-hour shift probably, fucking head's fucking rattled, all these fucking
That's
laws and that.
boss as fuck, that man.
Oh, I think I got home.
As
soon as you get out the door, let's come on, us.
I respect
he's gonna
the
kill
power
us one
play.
day, isn't he? I think that's a hit. That's a message. It's a message.
I respect the power play. I do fully. We've all worked shit jobs. We've all worked with people we hate.
Yeah.
So fucking fair play.
Can you imagine any of this in this day and age?
Yeah, I mean, like, the funniest thing I find now is you more or less seeing it play out, but with someone who's powerless in Trump. Like, someone like Trump.
Oh, here we go.
What do you mean here we can? Like,
Matt with fucking political.
Orange man.
I'm not making it. I'm not making it.
How will Trump ever recover? No. Talk your shit, bro. Talk your
someone
shit.
like Trump is as fucking self-consumed as Commodus, but like doesn't have the means to implement everything he would want to. Imagine the fucking state of it if he did.
Mate, I know. If he had absolute power over
like he's a.
I don't know. I think he's just fucking funny, considering last night when there was the launch for the SpaceX rocket, he walked out the fucking macho man.
Like, tell me, like, he's not communist.
The whole fucking America's burning. He's going macho. He's Homer Simpson.
Literally, yeah.
He's fucking Homer Simpson.
Yeah.
Oh wait, didn't fucking defame Homer Simpson like that? Fuck you.
The video of him, where he's doing the speech and he just shouts, "Look at my African American."
Look at my African American.
Like, fucking what? What are we living in? Is this real?
He's put it this way. He's not bored.
Yeah.
He's not bored because he's a fucking megalomaniac.
Probably kill people.
But it doesn't even bear thinking about. Like what we were saying, like if he had the power Commodus had to do what he wanted.
That's the thing. They should be grateful that he actually doesn't have that power.
And
I mean, still though,
the president is just a fucking fall man anyway.
Yeah, the American political system does kind of mirror ancient Rome's in the way that it's really hard to get things past Congress. Yeah, to get things past Congress is about as hard as it was to get things past the Senate because everyone's there to just kind of balance things out. The president, the president has 8 years max to implement changes anyway, and they take a long time to get through Congress as it is.
Yeah. Right. Anyway. Is about the Senate. While in
gladiatorial.
It's 2-1. I'm fucking sweating.
Alright.
Mate, to be fair, I'm literally sitting there fucking melting in the back room. Like.
And I've had 4 Budweisers since recording.
And?
Sitting there.
Oh, Sarah got her shot right in this fucking Peroni in the fridge.
Nice.
Mate. Still got a fucking litre of me pale ale left now. I'm gonna get fucking hammered.
Yes, pale ale, lad. Pale ale and a stale whale. Sorry, no.
Sorry. During a battle with fucking ostriches. Jesus.
Ostriches?
Ostracised.
Ostriches?
We seem to talk a lot about ostriches on this podcast.
Yeah, he chopped one of the heads off. while the body of it was still running about bumping into shit. I love that. He held the head up.
I think he went
everywhere.
He went to date and like obviously he was meant to fall down dead and it runs about and spraying him with blood and all he hears like the fucking Curb Your Enthusiasm music. He's like holding the head like, oh for fuck's sake.
After he fucking beheaded it,
obviously,
held up the head and pointed his bloody sword at the centre section of the stadium with a look of hatred on his face after obviously to say, yeah, fucking next year's. Lucky you fucking said it, man. Fuck off.
Grow up, man. Go on with that.
Fucking listen.
Get off the Senate now!
I'm gonna punch your fucking face in!
Obviously he's fucking spending loads of money on his own battles, which he wasn't paying for. He devalued the currency of Rome. He lowered the amount of gold and silver in the coins, which made the coins lighter and less valuable. Because back then, it's obviously the valuables in the actual gold of the coin.
Yeah.
And not just like a bit.
Yeah.
Like a bit of paper saying, this is this amount.
Yeah. It's like an asset class of its own. The most depressing thing about all this is like this is directly after the thing that I spoke about Hadrian, where you had 5 solid emperors in a row that had like 80 or 90 years of prosperity and building up this like solid economy for someone like Commodus to come along.
Just a right bastard thing. He wasn't the first to try, but he done it that much that he fucking crippled the country.
Yeah.
And I forgot the quote in somewhere else, which I'll read in a minute. As mentioned before, he did fuck all for his duties. He left people in charge like Perennius. Commodus just put himself in charge of being like a king or a god. When he wasn't fighting in gladiator battles or beating people to death in his garden, he had his personal brothel. He had
Fair enough.
300 concubines.
Can't say I wouldn't.
Which were just gathered by soldiers that he ordered to get like the most beautiful women and just fucking drag them to the palace with no fucking choice.
Disagree with it on that front.
Yeah. I'd ask them first. They'd say no, but I'd ask them.
They wouldn't say no because of the implication.
He also brought in a young boy, which he ordered to sleep with him naked.
Fucking Mary Trant looking ass.
Legally got his name changed to the boy who loves Commodus. Which is I don't know how you get that.
Shut up, man.
Mate.
Shut the fuck up.
I'm just the boy who loves Commodus.
I'm just gonna go on Google Translate right now and see what this name translates as.
It's like getting your
boy.
It's like getting your ex's name tattooed on you. So like next time you go for a job interview, so then your CV. The boy who loves Commodus. No, it's my old name, but I just use it.
Puer qui delexit Commodus.
That sounds a lot better. That sounds fucking cool if you know what it meant.
He probably said that.
Aye, just the guy doesn't speak English.
He doesn't even realise, like, oh, it's a lovely name.
Fine by me.
And later on, he gets fucking Google Translate somehow. Fucking,
Aye,
so,
next 2,000 years, he gets Google Translate.
As well, he called like all these fucking lasses and all that shit the harem.
Harem.
Harem?
Yeah, it's harem. Or harem, but it's harem, yeah.
I don't know. He also made his sisters join it.
Fucking hell.
And I'm double out.
Yeah,
right.
And gave one of his concubine his mother's name.
Read.
Triple out.
This guy's fucked.
Aye.
And Perennius, obviously rightfully pissed off. All he's fucking, he's doing fuck all, he's doing all the work. Realised he didn't really need Commodus and tried to kill him, but Commodus got away and Perennius was executed. Cleander was put in Piranus' place and Commodus continued being the sick gun. He fucking betrayed his mates as well.
I was expecting the
I cannot see him being a sound mate.
It's fucking right, arsehole.
I'll rape bears, I'll kill anyone, I'll die out for me mates.
Just put that out like a picture of fucking Tommy Shelby from Peaky Blinders.
I'd share that.
Betrayed loads of his friends, and when there was a massive food shortage, in charge of food was, I'm going to butcher this, Tiberius, Dietinus, blamed Cleander to save himself from an angry mob that was after him. Commodus let Cleander hide while it blew over, but a mistress that fucking he loved, called Marcia, told him to throw Cleander to the mob, so he fucking did. He put his head on a spear and gave it to the angry mob.
Bastard.
And also, he had Cleander's friends put to death along with his wife and children. To appease the mob, he had the children's mutilated bodies dragged through the city and dumped into the sewer to rot.
Fucking hell, man.
Fuck
He was a bastard. I mean, he is, but...
Yeah, he is. Yeah.
Fucking horrible.
Pales in comparison to this bellend.
Done yet, man.
Jeez.
He also had an entire family, a family line put to death for being wealthy.
Fuck me.
It's
just out for now, isn't it?
Family was wealthy and well respected. Respected. And he was a proper paranoid fuck. As
you can well guess.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got all the fucking things for being a serial killer.
Oh, 100%.
Well,
fascinating character.
He's
like, massively.
He's definitely a psychopath.
Obsessed with fucking shit inside people.
Yeah.
Like seeing them open and that.
You put Sid from fucking Toy Story in charge of an empire.
Oh yeah, he was that paranoid that he thought because they were well respected and wealthy, there would be a matter of time before the people respected them too much and called them to rule Rome.
He fucking no one left.
He's probably like self-aware that he's a bit of a sick cunt.
Yeah.
Nah, they're not going to stand for this any longer. So he sent his soldiers out to kill them and nearly wiped out his the family line. One lad, Sextus Candianius,
Get up, lad.
survived, as when he was approached by the soldiers on his horse, he filled his mouth with blood and horsehair and fell off his horse, spitting out the blood, pretending to be bleeding inside, for them to assume he'd already killed himself. They left him for dead and he snuck away when all was clear. He also wore disguises for the rest of his life.
Finessed.
Yeah, fucking bastard like.
Wait, who was this?
Sextus.
Oh, okay.
It's like a son. I'm assuming like a son of the family.
Yeah, he was like a proper young lad.
Oh,
He's
fair.
fucking. He done well.
He did. Big up Sextus.
Marcia, we mentioned before, who convinced Commodus to kill his mate, was treated like a wife, and he proper loved her. He took all her advice and respected her more than anyone, until she disagreed with him too many times, and because love could only go so far, he tried to kill her. He wanted to declare himself sole supreme dictator of Rome and destroy the Senate and rule Rome from within the gladiators' barracks, and announce he would dress like a gladiator, flanked by other gladiators all the time. Marcia begged him not to do this, as he would destroy the country, as if he hasn't fucking already done that.
I mean, dress for the job you want.
So he sent all his soldiers out for her to be murdered. The reason she survived was because his sixth child, if you remember, the boy who loves Commodus,
Oh yeah.
bought the plot, so you couldn't have fucking loved him that much, you fucking prick.
I didn't think he loved Commodus, mate. I think he just was
I'm gonna
forced.
get out of the women's. I think he was probably
Just
impartial.
He fucking got to his guards like, who the fuck warned Marcia?
Well, it wasn't me, I love you.
It was the boy who loves Commodus. He attacked the piss. He attacked the fucking piss. Get the fucking gladiator ring.
No, get him in there now.
So she was warned, and then she was a little bit pissed off, I reckon.
Maybe.
She organised with others who wanted him dead. So she had him poisoned, but unfortunately, Commodus spewed up the poison. But while he was cleaning up the poison in the bath, a wrestler named Narcissus was sent in to strangle him in the bath, naked. So he got choked out by a naked fella while washing up his fucking spew.
You know for a fact this guy's massive and all. And I mean massive.
I love the name as well, because it sounds like narcissist.
That's where the word comes from.
So, does it?
Yeah, there's a tale of I don't know if it's Greek or Roman. Narcissus loved himself so much that he saw himself in a body of water and looked at himself for too long and he fell in and drowned. I think that's the story anyway.
What a prick. I love ye, me, for me and now.
Can't swim!
Why you taste like water?
Why do you taste like water?
This is the bit you sent me. Roman writer Dio Cassius.
Oh, I actually got this from Horrible Histories. I use a lot of Horrible Histories for my research.
Nice.
Shouts out to Terry.
I mean,
Shouts out to
Sunderland.
Sunderland.
It's legit as it gets.
Yeah.
And Terry Deary is from Sunderland.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
I had no idea until I started doing research on this.
Getting some playing films, I like. Dio had a problem. Is this from a book? I'm guessing.
Yeah, I copied it from the Kindle.
He had a problem to stop himself. Sorry, my screw went off. He had to stop himself laughing when he watched Commodus strut around the arena pretending to be a hero. Dio chewed bitter laurel leaves to get the smile off his face as Commodus pranced about, proudly holding up the head of his victim, an ostrich. Obviously Dio had laughed, then Commodus probably had him executed. Fighting against Commodus wasn't a laugh for the gladiators, of course, especially the ones he used to practice. Oh yeah, it's about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, he used wooden swords. Gladiator decided to make Commodus look good and he fell to the ground, so Commodus drew a real knife and stabbed the man to death.
Oh, come on.
Fucking hell. Even when he wasn't trying to kill his opponents, he would somehow do it. Dio explained in the arena, Commodus never shed human blood. He killed animals but only fought humans with blunted weapons. Shedding blood would be a disgraceful thing for an emperor to do. Romans went along to the games to watch other people die horribly. But when Commodus was in charge of the visitors, sometimes felt himself dragged into the arena.
Oh, it's not there. You've mysteriously fell in.
Oh no.
Oh no.
I'll have to kill you now.
Oh, you had knee legs to start with. Shame.
Oh, look at that. I'm fighting the armless, legless man.
Got in for no pay.
And you fucking keep, you Roman bastard. Alright, so that was the life and times of Commodus.
Enjoyed that.
Sounds like
Thank
good.
you very much. It's a fucking colourful guy.
Right, so thanks very much for listening again, if you have. Next episode is going to be on the methods of crime and punishment in ancient Rome, which should be fun.
You thought that was dark.
So yeah, thanks very much for listening, and we'll see you next time.
Cut out a bit, Alex, there, what were you saying?
I was saying goodbye.
Right, fair enough, right. Cheers, see ya.
Ta-ra.